Hello everyone, welcome on in, and today we are building a blue Victorian home, but this is actually for a building challenge. With these building challenges, we've got layers, and today's shell was created by Rainbow Cat Mom, and it's called the Cursed Cat Shell. Look at that cursed cat, holy moly, and I had to try and turn it into an actual something. My gosh. So hello if you are here for the very first time, and also hello if you aren't. Just hello in general, but I am Velvet. I am a YouTuber and streamer from New Zealand who loves the cats. I do love the cats, but I also love Sims 4. I adore cats. I have two cats, and I love them to pieces. Do I want to turn them into a house? Well, no, I don't. But this was definitely a big challenge. So thank you very much, Rainbow Cat Mum, for this incredible shell. It was just a little bit wackadoo and I loved it. Loved it every second. Anyway, the other layers to this challenge were that it needed to be blue and grey, and it was for a residential for a couple and 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. Not sure on the ages, so I made that up myself. So that's what I was building this for. So I decided, I don't know, I kind of looked at the shell and thought, what can I do with this? And I looked at the little towery part at the top and I thought, I can go a few directions with that, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm vibing with a Victorian today. So a Victorian inspired home is where I went with it. And you'll see, I started out with quite a lot of black because I'm building in Forgotten Hollow, and it's just instinct, right? Just to go quite dark colours. And then I remembered I was supposed to be doing grey and blue. And I was like, oops, okay, quick, let's change the colour of that roof. And then I ended up really liking the black trim with the grey roof. I thought that looked really pretty. So I was kind of there for it. I played around with the underside of that little sticky out, jutty out point, the head of the cat. It underwent many different variations. I had like some stacked eco lifestyle vertical planks, and they went, and then I tried columns and they went, and then I just ended up with nothing underneath there, and that worked best of all. So sometimes going simpler is better, you know. Now, I did actually stick to a limited amount of packs for this build as well, so it is actually, you know, fairly good for people to download from the gallery. Not too bad at all. It is going to end up as a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. So if you remember, our makeup of our residence was going to be a couple with 3 kids. So 1 bedroom has 2 singles and a toddler bed. So I built this for 2 kids and a toddler. And then upstairs we have the couple's room. So that's sort of the master bedroom as such. And then a bathroom on each level. So there's a nice bigger bathroom for the downstairs sort of guest bathroom and the kids. And then upstairs there's a smaller bathroom for the parents, which is a little bit more their ensuite. So this was built on a 30 by 30 lot. So this is built on the Flender, oh, what's his name? Flenderman's Bend? Flender something, I don't know. The 30 by 30 lot in Forgotten Hollow. I always forget the names of lots. I don't know why I try to remember that. The packs that I used were businesses and hobbies, life and death, love struck, for rent, growing together, cottage living, seasons, and get together. And that was the expansion packs. In the game packs, I used jungle adventure, vampires, and outdoor retreat. And I only used 1 kit in this build, which was the castle estate kit. Long story short, that was just for the windows. I don't think I used anything else from the castle estate kit, really, that I can think of anyway. It was simply the windows. So if you don't have the castle estate kit, that was basically the only thing I think I used from it was windows. So, you know, just anytime there's like a little towery type thing, I love the windows from Castle Estate for that. They're great windows for that. And like Victorian sort of style and the traditional style houses, the Castle Estate windows always work really nicely with that as well. Anywho, let's move on back to the build of Jimmy Jammit. I don't know what I've done. I've talked my way through that section of the build, and we are currently building the graveyard. So this house comes with a little graveyard, out the back. So this is a family graveyard. So the idea is that this house has been here for a few generations, and we've got a few graves there ready to be filled or they've been filled already, up to you. And we've got a mausoleum as well, so if you want to inter anybody in there or do some exploration, then you can. And the other things that we have in this, and I'll probably come back to this because I think I got to this point of the build and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with the rest of this yard yet, so I'm going to come back to it and do it last. But we end up with like a little chicken coop and a little garden area and some play stuff for the kids. So it ended up filling up quite nicely, because this wasn't like despite the fact it kind of looked on the bigger side, it actually wasn't that big a shell. So we didn't have a whole lot of room to work with on the interior. So I did want to make sure we had a few things on the exterior. As I said, this is only a 30 by 30 lot, so not the biggest lot in the world, but I think this is a nice house for the Forgotten Hollow lot. Flendermouse Bend, is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. So yeah, the floor plan did take a little bit of figuring out, because I just wanted to make the most of those upstairs levels. Like I couldn't even get stairs up to the top tower level, and I could have left that empty, but there was enough space there that I felt like I could do something with it. So I ended up turning that top area into like a little study. So there's just some bookcases and some chairs and that's basic, and some music, a little gramophone thing. That's about it. But you can actually do quite a lot with that, because obviously with books you can do a lot of skill building, and maybe with the music you can do a little bit of dancing up there. So it could be a nice little hangout area. And as you can see here, I'm sort of sticking very much with the blue and grey theme on the interior as well as the exterior. And the wallpaper I ended up going with was from Vampires, so the dark blue, and I thought that looked really nice with the grey flooring. So I wasn't unhappy with the grey and blue combo. I thought that was actually quite a nice combo. I struggled with those curtains. Oh, sometimes with the packs that I choose, I don't always have a great selection with the curtains. And I thought the businesses and hobbies ones would be quite nice, but they turned out like the colors weren't great with this build. So, and I wanted to go like a little bit more of a traditional vibe rather than a modern vibe. And the heavier sort of more draped curtains I felt looked a little better in the style of home. So that's what I ended up going with. And they are quite heavy and decorative, but that's the vibe of the style of house. So you know what? That makes sense, right? I feel like that makes sense anyway. So the counters that I'm using are... What am I using on the counters? Jungle Adventure, possibly. They look like the Jungle Adventure ones. And then the Jungle Adventure oven and fridge as well. So I think that's all Jungle Adventure. I'm pretty sure I'm using the dining table and chairs from Vampires. So I'm fairly certain that's what the case is. Oh, you know what I did here? While I'm building all this stuff, I completely blocked off one of the bedrooms and like gave it no access whatsoever. And I was like, oh, whoopsie daisy. So you'll see that in a minute. I will, I'm putting a fireplace in here. And then I'll go and do like the coat rack kind of area and all around the entrance. And that's about the point that I realized I haven't put in any interior doors anywhere. And I was like, oopsie. Sometimes you're just building away and then you realize you've made a really, really critical mistake. Because as it turns out, Sims like to be able to use doors to get to things. Because they can't otherwise access things. Yeah, so there you go. Fireplace, sorry, out the door. You got binned. No fireplace there because, hey, guess what? I needed to be able to access the rooms in behind there. Whoopsie daisies. Oh, well. As far as mistakes go, it wasn't too bad. So that's the doorway through to the kids' room, and then the second doorway where the fireplace was, that's going to be where the downstairs bathroom / guest bathroom / kids' bathroom is going to be situated. So in terms of the interior stuff that I chose, like the furnishings and bits and pieces, I did try to go a little bit more traditional in the furnishings. I do more often than not like to go modern, But every now and then, it is nice to change things up and try to use some of the more traditional pieces that we have in the game. And there is quite a few. I feel like base game and like cats and dogs, vampires, even Realm of Magic to a degree. And Parenthood ish to a degree. Strangerville is another pack that's really good for more traditional stuff. So there's quite a few packs there that are good for traditional stuff. But I feel like we've been getting a lot of modern stuff lately, and that we are kind of due for a more traditional style pack as far as build buy goes. Like it's been leaning a lot of modern stuff, and I'm not upset about that at all. But it is feeling at this point where we haven't had anything sort of more traditional styled for quite a while. Like there's bits and pieces, say in the Life and Death pack, but a lot of that was really quite modern. I feel like that's a pack that really could have leaned into the traditional style. In saying that, I absolutely adore all the Life and Death stuff. So, not complaining, just mentioning that this is a area where I feel like we do need to expand our build buy catalog a little bit more. I was trying to put bunk beds in, but just with all the window placement and everything like that, it just ended up not working out. So I just decided to do three separate beds instead. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do as far as kid makeup. And then I saw the pretty bed from Life and Death with the toddler bed, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of perfect for this room. So I'm gonna do a toddler and an older girl and a boy as well. So it's slightly older boy. So maybe a boy and girl twins, and then we've got a little toddler in the house as well. So yeah, I think that worked out quite nicely. And I really like the touch of purple in this room. It just mixes up the blue a little bit and adds that little pop of colour that, I just feel like kids love colour. And that makes sense for the little kiddies to have, a cute little pop of colour. Also, how fun are these debug art items from businesses and hobbies? I love them. They're just so perfect for kids' rooms. I just think they're great. So now we're moving upstairs and we are headed to the master bedroom. So we had actually a room upstairs to do a walk-in closet, which is quite nice. I wasn't expecting to have that room up there, so it was nice to have it. And I leaned into the brown. I really did struggle with what color I wanted to do, but I brought in the blue into the room with the bed and the furnishings, and then contrasted that with brown instead. And I felt like that actually worked quite nice and added like quite a nice amount of warmth to the bedroom as well. So just mixing it up in terms of colors, but still sticking with our color theme, which was the blue and the gray. And we are just heading up to the study now. So that's just sort of like a bit of art around the place, some curtains, etc. Just filling in the little bits of decorations, and then up to our last sort of room. Oh, I had this little space on the other side of the stairs as well that needed filled. And I was just kind of like searching for something to go there. It's like, anything, what have we got? But found something. So that wasn't too bad. Oh, and then we have the rest of the outside to do as well. So a little bit left to go. But I kept it pretty simple for our little study up there. Just a couple of chairs, some bookshelves, a lamp, and then a little end table with a gramophone on it. That's all I kind of had room for. There was not a lot of room up there. Could have done all sorts of things, I guess, up there, but I felt like the study was going to be the most flexible option as far as things went. So I did put in that's the chicken coop. I was talking about that earlier. So it's a cute little chicken coop there, so they can, harvest their own eggs, do a bit of simple living if they want to, and a tree house for the kids. So, the parents can get in there and do a bit of building, and the kids can then play and do all their things in the tree house. This is a little garden area here. And then around the front, we've got the swing and the monkey bars, so the little play sets and stuff there. So that's kind of how the rest of the yard panned out, and managed to get actually quite a lot in there. Oh, and there's a little love seat there for the parents as well, because I felt like, they could have a little love area. Just something where they can sort of hang out with the kids, but be a little bit secluded away from their eyes if they want to have a little one-on-one snuggle time or something like that. So yeah, should be a lot to do on this lot, bit of skill building, and hopefully really good for gameplay as well. So yeah, I thought it ended up looking really cute. I really like the blue and the grey combo. I thought that was nice. Anyway, don't forget to hit subscribe, like, comment, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have had fun with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Lots of love from Velvet.